Hi, are you somebody who is stuck in a profession that you don't like? It is not your fault. It is your career shadow at work. And what if I told you today that your career shadow is not personal? It is historical. Yes, it dates back to the Great Depression of 1929. And today, I'm going to take you back to that period and draw a straight line back to today. Hi, I am Twameka Sen. I am an authenticity coach and I help burnt out corporate creatives who are stuck in the wrong profession to reclaim their own voice and to unbecome everything they are not so that they can become who they truly are before the world told them who they were meant to be. So let's get started. So you see, history isn't just about the past. It is about how we see, feel, and create for ourselves even to this day. I hope my screen is visible. So today we will learn about how the Great Depression of 1929 still influences our career shadows. Now, those of you who are not aware of what the Great Depression is, it is when in 1929 the US stock market crashed, banks failed, people lost their jobs, their dreams, their dignity, and there was a negative ripple effect worldwide. So let's see what did that do for India. So for the Americans, the government eventually came up with reforms. But in India, the British Raj was speaking at that time. So the Indians suffered something that was way more insidious. They were producing wealth. The farmers were producing cotton, jute, and everything. But still, since the global prices had plummeted and the British taxes were still high, India suffered a massive setback during that time, and we are still recovering. We had no protection, no safety nets, and the trauma embedded a survival script in Indian families, one that feared failure and creation, and it survives to this day. Let me explain how. From pain that started during the Great Depression, it became a pattern, and that is how career shadows were born. So, if you think about it, our grandparents and our great grandparents actually lived during that time, and they have lived through this trauma. And no wonder the generational trauma has been passed down to us. And so now our parents force us to choose the safe career, discard our wishes of becoming an artist or doing something creative. And many of us were raised to be safe. Our nervous systems were wired to be safe and were shut down to big dreams, expressions, or explorations. So, have you heard of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs? So, it is like a pyramid of human needs, at the base of which is basic needs like food, clothing, etc. Then comes financial security, a home, a job, these things. Then comes relationships, family, basically the need for emotional connections. The fourth stage is esteem, where you do things for your own self-respect. And at the top of the pyramid lies something called self-actualization. Self-actualization is when we are living our life's purpose, when we are doing what we love and at the same time we are giving back to the society. That is self-actualization. And today, in this era, many of us are stuck in the middle of the Maslow's hierarchy, the pyramid. That is, we have security, but we don't have creativity. We don't have originality. We are conforming. We are not creating. In fact, in The Strangest Secret, Earl Nightingale mentions that the biggest enemy of courage is not cowardice, it is conformity. Because people are conforming and we are acting like we are in the wrong percentage group, the 95% who do not succeed. And it is high time we start placing ourselves in the top 5, the successful group. Now, how do we do that? So, recently I came across this book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and it was written during the Great Depression. So, Napoleon Hill mentions about something called the law of economics, and this law states that you are paid in proportion to the value that you provide to the world. And this is a principle that I live by, that you always have a choice, no matter how dire the situation looks around you. You always have a choice to turn your life around. You just have to exercise your power of the mind. Your creativity holds market value, and your mind is the only economy that no one can colonize. So, if we are not living in that physical colony anymore, right? It is way past independence. But if we are still thinking that way, maybe the colonization is still haunting us. It is due to the years of conditioning and the years of passing on of the generational trauma, and it is time we break free from it. In Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill mentions about many visionaries who actually rose during the Depression because they thought differently. They had faith in their vision and they persisted. They had strong desires to succeed. For example, Walt Disney started the Mickey Mouse during that time, and Amelia Earhart started her, like, went on her first solo flight. So there are examples, there are several examples. And even in India, during that very time, against all odds, Jamna Banerjee was starting to fund Gandhi's movements and empowering rural artisans to, plant the seeds of Swadeshi resilience. So if you research a little bit, you can find many examples of people who have rose under oppression because they were resilient, they thought differently, and they had faith in their vision. Modern crisis, ancient wisdom. So, as I was saying, even though the colonization has ended politically, many of us are still living in its economic and emotional legacy. Our nervous systems are wired for safety, not for dreams, not for success, not for discomfort. Like the comfort zone, you know, kills potentials like nothing else. Growth lies outside of the comfort zone, and many of us are scared to step out of the comfort zone because we are scared to let go of the security that is actually holding us hostage. You need to understand that. Please reflect on this today. And when you heal your creative identity, it is both personal and revolutionary. Like you could be the first millionaire in your family. You could heal the financial story of your entire bloodline. So start healing today, start questioning your behaviors and see if it is coming from your space of career shadows and see where they are stemming from, where the actual origin is. And you will rise like a bird with no feathers on its wings. Now, the final part, which is our next step. From scarcity to sovereignty, we must rise. So when you choose passion over fear, you are not just changing your own life, you are healing your entire lineage. And you are not alone. You are part of a new revolution, a soul-led economy where healing is the work and your creativity is your contribution. Remember, opportunity never disappears. It just hides behind fear. If you remove the fear, you will see opportunities flowing in. And that is what you need to do. And when you bring light to your shadows, when you actually integrate them instead of being ashamed of them, you don't just heal yourself. You reclaim the gold that is buried under your lineage. And by gold, I mean your gold shadow, your disowned brilliance. Now, as I mentioned before, that I am an authenticity coach and my methods are journaling and shadow work. And I basically specialize in helping people reclaim their gold shadow. So, if this conversation sparked something in you, don't just scroll, reflect on it, journal on it, share your comments, share your thoughts in the comments below. So, if we have to connect the dots, history isn't just a story, it is a mirror, and you were born to rewrite what was stolen. It is high time you start taking charge of your life and writing your own story. If this hit home, if this resonated anywhere, if this tugged a string at your heart, what do you need to do immediately? Join me this Friday, 4th of July, for my free masterclass called Unmask Your Passion, where I teach you 3 secrets to break free from your generational shadows and claim your passion, and eventually start pursuing it unapologetically and monetizing it into a thriving business. It happens every Friday at 7:30 p.m. The next one is happening on 4th of July. The registration link will be given in the description below. So please don't wait. Just jump in and just get ready to awaken your own soul. Thank you.